Hey guys, it's Harry. My topic is the Persian Gulf War. Two countries in this conflict is Iraq, which is a country in the Middle East led by Saddam Hussein, who is a very militaristic dictator. Also, the country of Iraq has a history of previously being supported by the United States in a war with its neighbor Iran. The other country is Kuwait. Kuwait is a very small country with little military but huge oil reserves. It is approximately 10% of the world's oil production and approximately 99 billion barrels of oil. They also have a vast majority of the Persian Gulf on their coast. The causes for the crisis. The main reason for this conflict was Saddam Hussein, and he wanted to control the Kuwaiti oil reserves. And so on August 1990, he invaded the country in hope to expand Iraqi power in the area, to get more of the Persian Gulf, and to make the world more dependent on him for oil. Here's a map, and the larger country in red is Iraq, and you can see that it's invading the small country in white of Kuwait, and the blue next to it is the Persian Gulf. The UN motivation to act, it was Saudi Arabia, who is very close allies with the United States, and because the United States gets all or almost all their oil from them at the time. And so basically, the Saudi Arabian president calls up President Bush and he asks for protection. They're scared that Iraq, who is their neighbor and is invading Kuwait for their oil, will do the same thing to them. And the United States, because they're ally and they get their oil from there, they of course say yes. The United States then sends the Secretary of State multiple times to Iraq to bring about peace, but diplomacy fails to work. Then the UN takes action. They start with Operation Desert Shield, which is the first deployment of troops and was in Saudi Arabia to protect them. Then after that, on August 2nd, 1990, Operation Desert Storm was sent into effect, which was an 100-hour land war that took the troops from Desert Shield in Saudi Arabia and sent them to attack Iraqi troops in Kuwait. This basically is what ended the invasion of Kuwait by the Iraqi troops. Then following this, the UN Security Council came up with 6 resolutions to this problem, highlighted by Resolution 678, which was regarding the invasion of Iraqi troops in Kuwait, and also 687, which demands that Iraqi immediately stop actions to annex Kuwait, accept its liability for any loss, damage, or injury arising in regard to Kuwait and other states. But lastly, it states to take further steps in making Iraq a non-threat by doing inspections. The last one's the one I want to focus on. And so, was it successful? Yes, in a short-term goal, it was effective because we got the Iraqi troops out of Kuwait. But in the long run, it wasn't. We didn't follow what we said in Resolution 687. We said we'd go do inspections in Iraq, but the first time we went to do this, they didn't allow us into the country. So we kind of parted ways and said, okay. My resolution would have been to use force and get into the country and make sure they're not being a threat to anyone else. And also, it would be to get rid of the president, Saddam Hussein, and because he's the one that is starting all this violence on everyone else. And if we did this, I think the second Gulf War wouldn't have happened. Here's my works cited, and thank you.